Hey guys, in this video, we're gonna go through some code that uses AI to solve a actual business problem right now that businesses are paying a lot of money for, right? Or they want to pay a lot of money for. So before you run away, right? Yes, there's gonna be coding in this video. I'm gonna go through coding. Now, there's three roads to approach this video. Road one is if you're just trying to understand AI, you just want to learn AI, you just want to manage an AI team, you just want to just get a gist of what's going on, but you don't want to code. You just want to see what goes on behind the scenes of like AI engineering, AI integration, prompt engineering, and stuff like that. Stay here. This video is for you. So this road's for you. If you're just trying to see what's going on, you're not trying to code, you want to take some notes and learn the process, the flow, and stuff like that. See what technologies are being used, what's going on. Stay here. This road's for you. Now, this direct road is if you want to learn how to code using AI, right? If you want to do AI engineering, if you want to do AI prompt engineering um, within code, if you want to do AI integration, using code, this video is perfectly just for you because we're going to go through the code step by step. And if you're a beginner, I'm going to go through each line of code step by step and explain exactly what each line does, okay? So pretty much we're going to copy and paste. I'm going to have you copy and paste my code and then just work with the code, run through the code. So I'm gonna assume that you're gonna copy and paste the code. I'm gonna have a link where you can download it in the description of the video below and put it into Google Colab. And from there, we're just gonna run it and I'm gonna walk you through how it works and all that jazz. And then this is the road where you probably don't watch this video is if you really wanna have program understanding. If you don't know Python and you feel like you have to know Python to watch this video, then fine. Go on this ship, go watch videos about Python. In my next video, I'm going to teach you how to learn Python very quickly. Within like weeks to a month, you can learn the Python language, which is the most popular language right now. Well, one of the most popular languages right now, but it's the biggest one for AI. So yeah, but yeah, just so you know who should be watching this video, right? If you just want to learn about AI overview, or if you want to learn step by step, you're not a programmer, but you kind of want to see how the code works, learn a little bit of coding. You're not strong in Python yet. This video is still for you. You don't need to know Python to watch this video. You just need to understand what's going on. Okay, cool. So let's get into it now, right? And the reason why we're learning like this, right, is because everything we learn in life, or a lot of things we learn in life, actually we learn in reverse, okay, or in a non-direct linear order that we kind of think we learn, right? So for example, if we are learning how to make a bowl of cereal, right, first you buy a bowl, then you buy cereal, then you buy milk, then you buy a spoon, then you buy a refrigerator, or you already have one at home, and you buy dish soap, so on and so forth. You buy all the things, right? You didn't make the bowl, you didn't make the cereal, you didn't make the milk, you didn't make the spoon, you didn't make the refrigerator. You just buy these things and you learn how to use them, right? Then you learn how to make a bowl of cereal. You get the bowl, like the cereal, you gotta open it, or it's like a plastic thing, you gotta open that, you pour it in the bowl, okay, cool. Then you gotta pour the milk. I know I'm gonna get a bunch of comments about milk first or cereal first, but whatever. Pour the milk, get your spoon, eat. When you're done, wash bowl, wash cereal. Then you have to learn how to wash the dishes, right? Cool. Then depending on your learning journey of making cereal, you might research how to make your own milk. Where does milk come from? Cows. Oh, they have to pasteurize it. Oh, it goes through a machine. Oh, it's not just raw milk from the cow. They have to like modify it. How to make cereal? Oh, they gotta bake it. They gotta put sugar on it. And then how to make a spoon? Oh, you need some metal or you need wood, right? So then you'll try to make your own milk. Then you try to make your own cereal. Then you try to make your own spoon, and then you can make $1 billion cereal business company essentially, right? This is kind of like the workflow of how we learn things actually. We don't learn how to make milk and then we go buy cereal. Sorry. We don't learn how to make milk first and then go buy milk. We buy milk and then we learn about it later, right? We learn just enough about the milk to just use it, know what it does, how to consume it, how to get rid of it, and then we move on with our lives. And if we want to learn more, we need to learn more. Then we get in details about it, right? That's how we learn. Same way with this video. You're gonna copy and paste my code into Google Colab. You're gonna learn how it runs. You're gonna learn how the code works line by line. I'll go over it with you in easy to understand terminology. And from there, you're kind of good to go with the video, right? But if you want to learn like deeper and you feel like, oh, I didn't learn that much from the video, or it feels like I'm cheating, then modify some of the code slightly and based on what stuff I said, and see if it reacts the way you think it should react. And if there's an error, fix that error using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, right? Put that error into those LLMs and it can help you solve the error, right? And then from there, you can go learn Python. So that way you can come back to the code that you already seen before, and now you'll learn it way more effectively than learning Python first, then the code. It's going to take you such a long time, and it won't be as an effective learning process. You will learn more effectively and more faster, and you will learn faster doing things this way. Then after you learn Python, then you can make a similar project as this one on your own, right? So that's a really good learning path for all the coding projects for the rest of the series. Remember, this is part of a series that I'm teaching. So please watch the first video in this series, video 0. That will explain how this course works essentially, but or the series works. But yeah, now let's get into what's going on. So let's say you're on Amazon, right? And you pretty much, a lot of businesses want to find potential gaps in the market, right? They want to find problems that people are having and solve those problems. So let's say we're in the water business, or we're just trying to find a product to make something for, right? Like let's say you're ground zero, I got all this money or whatever, or you're a business that makes stuff, you want to find something else to make more money with, but you have no idea what to make for people, right? You got to figure out what problems people are having with their current product and make a better product that people will like, right? Let's say, we're looking at water bottles, right? We have these portable water bottles, and essentially, you can go through Amazon, right, and see the, what's it called? I know what it's called. Don't tell me. Sorry, my brain's a little fried today. Where is it? Reviews. You can check the reviews and see what people are complaining about. And based on these complaints that people are saying in the reviews, you can see a potential problem that you can fix and make a new product for and sell that product to compete with this product, right? That's how business works, okay? So now, pretty much we're going to make some code. It's going to check some Amazon data, some mock Amazon data. Specifically, we just grab some like water bottle information, but it can be any product, right? And we're gonna take the reviews from that data, check to see if it's a complaint or if it's not a complaint. And if it is a complaint, we will check to see if this complaint is similar to other complaints, right? And then from there, it will just give you a report of what the top like complaints are essentially per product, right? And there's AI in two of these situations. Wait, sorry, I said that weird. There's AI being used twice. One, AI is being used to see if a text is a complaint or not a complaint. Okay? And the second thing AI is being used for is similarity. Is this complaint similar to this complaint? Right? If it is similar, just show me this one. I don't need to see both. You don't want to see 100 complaints about the same thing. Give me one complaint, or show me one complaint that pretty much covers the 100 that are the same exact thing, essentially, right? Just worded differently. This is really hot. It's super blazing. Oh my gosh, it's burning my hand. Da, da, da. Instead of getting all those kind of reviews or complaints, just get, the water bottle has a heating problem, right? So that kind of similarity checking. And everything else is not AI. Everything else is pretty much straightforward programming and data science, right? So the skills we're working on right now are some data science skills, which involves data manipulation and just basic Python coding. The other skills we're working on are AI integration skills, because right now for this project, we're only using local models, which these models that we're going to download so we can use them for free. You don't have to worry about paying for API or anything like that. They're free local models, so that's AI integration in itself. And on top of that, some AI prompting, because we have to tell the model what to do. So that's kind of like prompting, which is prompt engineering or prompting, whatever. And then also it's like you're also learning about agents, like agentic flow and stuff like that. A little bit of an agent. So this is like a tiny, weak agent that we're creating right now. So there's a lot of different skill points we're touching in this video. But yeah, let's show you the data. So the data looks like this. And yes, it's mock data, so it's going to be very redundant, is that the word? Or it's going to repeat a lot of things, but it's just to make sure it's easy for you to understand what's going on, right? So on the left is the column of the product name, then we have the review dates, then we have the rating, because like the 5-star rating is how Amazon operates, and then we have the review text, right? And some of these are complaints, some of these are not complaints, right? So this is our data. If you want to grab this data set, in the link below in the video, Wow, I need to give you guys 1 second. Let me show you how to find the link on this video. 1 second. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you guys go to one of my videos so you can see. Hey, all right, there we go. So, if you're watching this video on YouTube, if you click on more, you'll see links like this below in the YouTube video description. Click on these links, and it'll lead you to like something you can download essentially, directly from Google Drive and all that jazz. So yeah, so that's how you'll find all the files I'm talking about. So it's gonna be a file for the code. It's gonna be a file for the data. Okay, so download the two files, and you want to open it in Google Sheets. So you go to googlesheets.com, log in, click on blank sheet, click on file, click on open, click on uploads, click on browse, and then find the file that you just downloaded, which would be the name, which is mock Amazon reviews. Open that, and then you should see something like this. Okay, cool. That's how you get the data. Now for the code, go to colab.research.google.com. Okay, if you can't see that, matter of fact, let me make sure that it's big for you guys. 1 second. Yeah, that's the URL. Okay, so go to this website. You'll see something like this. Make sure you log into your Google account and click on New Notebook. You'll see something that looks kind of like this, and you should be good to go. And you'll just copy it. Once you open up the code, it'll look like this, like a giant notepad. If you open up a notepad, you just copy everything, Control A, or like you hold Control press A to do this, or you go to the top and you just highlight it. Yeah, you just highlight it going down. I'm scrolling with my middle finger, and you can either right click and hit copy or hit Control C to copy. I'm gonna close that, and then don't save, and then I would hold Control press V here, or I would just right click. Already pasted it. Yeah, just Control press V, guys. Okay, hold Control press V. It should be here. Cool. So now the code's in front of you. I'm gonna close this. Leave. Cool. I already had my code up and running earlier. So now what you got to do next is you have to go here, right? It should already be It should look normal. But you should see sample data next to it. You'll click on content. Actually, no, just click on this for upload. And this is where you upload that data that I gave you guys, the mock review data. Hit open, and once you upload it, it should look something like this inside of Google Colab, right? And yeah, then you should be good to go to run this code. So now you're gonna click this play button right here, right? Click this play button, and it's gonna start doing a bunch of stuff. And then what you should see once it's done loading, because it's gonna load and do its thing, you're gonna see all this pretty much, and it says that, oh, I found 106 potential complaints, grouping them so far, 152 complaints for this product, Chillmate, and it just finds a number of complaints or things that it thinks are complaints, right? And it spits out a report for you, and the report looks like this. The report is this product, AquaGuard Smart Bottle. Unique complaint, keeps some water cool all day. That's actually not a complaint. Battery lasts for days, not a complaint. Straw broke within a week, that is a complaint. Paint started peeling off, that is a complaint. Leaked in my backpack, too heavy. Lid broke after a few uses. The light stopped after working after it fell. The battery life is terrible, it stopped. You get the idea. These are what the button jam doesn't fit in the car cup holder, and then keeps going like that. They're all going to be the same, but if it works properly, it should look something like this, right? Hydromax, right? Cool. Now, as you notice, two of these are not complaints. They're actually compliments to the product, right? But this is to show you guys that AI is not 100% right. A lot of it will need either one, extra filtering that I'll show you guys how to do later in the series, or two, human eyes are needed. And this is why I'm trying to teach people that AI is really good for speeding up a workflow or a process you have. But it might not replace the entire process. Like, you still might need to see what is outputted just to double check it, but it would save you still a lot of time instead of you doing this yourself, because you would be on Amazon for hours trying to find this information. And I think the data set's about 1,000 rows. So this code went through 1,000 rows of data and found out the top 12 complaints from technically 10 because two of them are wrong, but it found 10 complaints out of a bunch of rows of data, right? So keep that in mind. Sorry. Cool. So now, and there's ways to go about avoiding the AI spitting wrong information. Let's say you need it 100% to be correct information, nothing wrong. There are ways to produce stuff like this, but like I said, I'll go over this technique in another video, or there's multiple techniques to how to do it. Okay. So, but if you ran the code and everything's doing, like, if you see this, then your code is working fine. And now you officially have your first AI project. This is a great base point for you to learn how to make your own thing, right? But now I'm going to go through the code step by step. Okay, so, and remember, what we did was we made something that goes through this table. It looks at this column and it looks at this column, right? Which is data manipulation slash data wrangling, right? So it kind of pretty much ignores these two columns because they're useless. But in real life, the data sets you might get that are pulled from websites and stuff like that might have a lot of rows of data. I'm sorry, a lot of columns that are useless to you for what you need, but you might need them later for something else, right? Never just get rid of it. But yeah, so we look at these two columns and we kind of group them together, right? So we find all the columns. Pretty much, I'll show you what we did there right now. So if we did, so pretty much what the code does, it goes through the data set and it pretty much clear like this. Cool. And then the code does this. So the code first loads up the table, right? It's like, oh, cool, we have a table. Then the code filters it. It tries to find all the products with the same name. Cool. And then from there, it tries to find, then it checks, is this a complaint or not a complaint, right? And then it groups those together. So it groups all the complaints together and then groups the non-complaints together. Then in the group of complaints, from there, it will check to see if any complaints are similar, and it just picks one that kind of covers the rest, like covers for the other ones that are similar to it. Okay, and then from there, it gives you that list of complaints that it sees. Okay, so that's pretty much what we're doing right now. So now let me explain this code a little bit. Okay, and I made a quick thing for you guys to kind of go through what the steps are again. So first step is load data. Second step is to grab the two columns that I mentioned. Next step is to filter the data based on the product name, right? Then we find complaints for that specific product, right? Then we figure out if the complaints are similar. Then in that same step, show one complaint for the group of similar complaints, and then last is show a report. These gray steps are just basic normal coding that any programmer can probably do. These three steps, the blue ones, are, I would say, are data science skills, which involve data manipulation and stuff like that. And then this red one and this purple one are AI skills, right? Which is, this one is integrating an AI to find complaints, figure out, like, is this a complaint or not a complaint based on text. This is one model. The reason I use two different colors because two different models. Okay, I'm making sure I clarify that. And this is another AI model that figures off if the complaints are similar. Essentially, this is probably you can use a transformer for this, or you can use a similarity equation as well. Similarity equation is the mother of AI, right? If AI is the daughter, which is the transformers that we all love, and like ChatGPT and stuff like that, the mother is similarity equations, okay? Which is the statistics. All right, cool. So these is our step process for what is going on in the code itself. All right. So now let's go over what the code is talking about. So the first thing you'll see in the code is a bunch of green stuff, right? This green stuff is pretty much just notes for you guys. All this green stuff is notes. That's all you need to know. The notes are usually depicted by something like this, is what makes it a note. So if you put this hash in front of something, it makes it into a note. This is a Python thing. I think it's for you guys, it should be Shift 3 on your keyboards. Cool. That's all that is. So those green things does nothing. If I run this code with all green, nothing happens. It just notes. Cool. This right here, pip installs everything you need to run. So this is kind of like going to the grocery store or going to the hardware store and getting all your tools that you're going to need. You didn't make the screwdriver, but you're going to use a screwdriver, right? Some other company made the screwdriver, but you're buying the screwdriver so you can use it, or you're going to borrow the screwdriver and use it to build what you need to build and give it back once you're done. Or you keep it because you bought it, right? This is essentially what we're doing. We're buying all our different tools that other people made that we need to build our product. Yes, you can make your own screwdriver, have fun with that, but it's just most programmers, depending on what company you work for and stuff like that, or situation, you want to use pre-made tools, which are called libraries, right? So we're downloading these libraries via pip install, and these are the names, right? So, and this is the other process. So it's like a two-step process. First, you pip install them, then you import them, right? It's kind of like buying the tool in a box, like you buy a screwdriver in the box, which is the pit part, and then importing it is kind of like you open the box to grab the tool out. Now the tool's in your hand. Okay, print, just print. So all that stuff you see at the bottom, if you see a print statement, print is making something like it's a kind of note for you to see in the output. So when we're outputting the report, this is what print does. Print just prints out like, yeah, all this information which is part of the report, it just prints it here. Okay, so you can see it, right? The green stuff will not get shown here because it doesn't do anything. But this is kind of like a note that you will see that the code prints out itself. Okay, so that's kind of like what that is. Think of it like it's texting you what's happening in the background. Cool. And they're just notes you add. Usually print statements don't break anything. Cool. So next we're gonna load the models. Okay. So we're gonna load these models. So we have the sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is knowing if something is good, bad, sad, or happy. Are they angry? Like it can read text and figure out what the sentiment is. Sentiment is like what the feeling is of the text, right? And we're looking for complaints, okay? And then the similarity equation is like, oh, if I say I ran 2 miles, if I said I just quickly ran 2 miles, the sentences are similar, as you see, right? So we're not gonna want to say both. We just want one of them, where it's just fine to say what happened, right? Um, so yeah, that's what the sentence similarity model does. Okay. So device equals CUDA. So pretty much what this does right here, it pretty much. So most AI models use something called CUDA to run or train, um, or they can use CPU. If you don't know what this means, don't worry about it. It just wow, reconnect. I'm not gonna reconnect it because I'm not gonna run it again. But essentially, it's just how the AI runs, right? When your computer is when you're playing video games, when you're watching videos on YouTube, when you're using Microsoft Word on your computer, all that is using CPU. Okay, we're just giving it the place to run on your PC. That's all. Yeah, it just CUDA makes the AI run faster if you use CUDA versus CPU. That's all that does, right? Cool. We have a try it and accept statement. So it'll try this first, and if that doesn't work, then it does this, and yeah, it's pretty much what that means with the try accept. If this always works, then what happens? What's put in the accept area never happens. Okay, so it will try this. If it works, it just moves on. It doesn't even does the accept. It only does the accept if the first, if this line doesn't work, right? And the print statement just prints stuff. So this is kind of like turning the. Let's say you have a electrical screwdriver. It's like turning on the electrical screwdriver. Okay, if you don't know what a screwdriver is, I'm really sorry. You might want to look that up just in case if you don't know what it is. Um, not to be condescending or anything. It's just I'm just making sure everyone's on the same page. I don't want to assume that everyone knows what a screwdriver is, right? But I'm just using this for this example. So we turn on the screwdriver. Essentially, is what this means if we have an electrical screwdriver, right? And if we try to turn it on and it says pretty much if the screwdriver doesn't work, like it's not turning on, then it prints out none, like something's wrong essentially, right? Maybe it's not a screwdriver, maybe it's a blow dryer for your hair, right? Or electrical comb, right? Or whatever. So that's that, and that's for the sentiment analyzer. So we grab a model from there, okay, and that will download the model from whoever made it into the computer so we can use it. So that's a local model, right? So you can use it without internet. But for this code specifically, you need internet because you're using Google Colab to run it. So yeah, but pretty much this means this model's free, and you can run it without internet, right? Which means you can run it in an app on your phone and stuff like that. Next, we do the same thing for the similarity model. This is the name of the model. So what this means is, oh, this is the name of the model, and the device is going to be the device. We set that up earlier. And yeah, so all this is, it's now we have a different tool. Now we have an electric spoon, and we gotta turn the electric spoon on, right? Because we're gonna start cooking. some code. So that's what that does. And same thing, similarity. If the spoon doesn't turn on, it's gonna say none. Oh, I guess it's gonna say none for this because the spoon is not turning on. Yeah, there's no. It's a fake spoon, guys. Don't worry. Cool. So now we create a function called load data. This function is kind of like we create our own tool, right? We create our own tool from scratch. Remember the cereal analogy? We're making our own milk from scratch here to use for the cereal. We bought a spoon, we bought the cereal, but now we're making our own milk, right? This is kind of like what's going on with this. So we're creating this function. This triple line, this triple quotation mark thing is also like notes, like the green notes. The red, if you see this, it's also notes as well. So this does nothing to the code. It's just notes that print out. Um, yeah, it's just notes for you to read when you're programming and stuff like that. It doesn't print out. I'm sorry. It's just here for when you're coding. Cool. So while true, that's a while loop. So pretty much the first thing that the code is going to ask you to do, the code's going to ask you for the name of the file you want it to go through, right? The name of the file is this, but .csv. So luckily, it's already there for you guys as a cheat sheet. Like this is the name of the file that you guys have, and it's referring to this file. It's referring to that file. So you need to give it this file name. You can type it or you can copy path and erase all the nonsense and just keep the name. But that's what that does. So pretty much this is gonna make you type, like it'll require you to type the name of the file that you want to upload, and you want the AI and the code to go through, right? Cool. If there is no file and you have no file, the code's not gonna work. Like you need a file for it to go through, right? And you can modify the file up a little bit if you want to see if it'll say something different for different kind of complaints and stuff like that. But you can mess with this code so that way you can learn how it works and stuff like that. So don't be afraid to mess with it. Next is you load the data. This loads the data. So now the data loads into the code itself. So now the AI will have the code file in its hand. So imagine you printed this out on a piece of paper and gave it to the AI to look at it. Now it has it in its hand and it gets ready to take its notes. Okay, so that's what that does. Right, that's what this line does. Cool. That just prints what's going on. Required columns. So you let it know which columns you want to focus on. This is telling it. Oh, I want to focus on um, required columns. So which are product name and review text are the two columns that we care about, right? So that's what that tells it. Okay. Next, uh, if you get this error, that means you named your column wrong. Like the columns are either names wrong or the spelling's wrong or the capitalization's wrong. So double check that, make sure they're correct. It should be if you copy what I have, but if you modify, just keep that in mind. Yeah, all this is just error code. Continue, yeah, just error code. So something bad happens, it just like something's wrong. It'll tell you something's wrong. Okay, with the file, maybe the name is wrong, maybe the data is too big, too small, stuff like that. So yeah. Cool. Now we're making another. So we're making a new function called analyze complaints, right? So we're making a new function. This is like I said. Now we're making another thing. Now we're making the dish soap that we need to wash the bowl of cereal we just ate later, right? So we're making another product of our own that we're going to use for our process, right? Oh, and remember this code was called this function is called load data. So it'll look like this down the line, and then we have analyze complaints. Cool. Yeah. Cool. This line is pretty much if there's any error with the AI models, like it can't download it for some reason from the internet down to your computer to use it, it's gonna let you know that there's a problem, right? Um, yeah, like it couldn't load it, which is not your fault. It might be an issue with them, the people that made it, that's giving it to you essentially through an API. But an API is just how we get. Let me not go over what an API is right now. If you don't know what an API is already, it's not a big deal. It's a very simple concept. Um, cool. So this is a data science little thing, data analyst little thing, where you group by product name. This is the filter. So this would filter the data now to by product name, which would do like this, right? So AquaGuard model. Then after it's done checking that one, it's gonna do this. Like okay, cool. Now let's filter for Chilme LED bottle. Like yeah, that's what that does. Okay, cool. Cause remember we're gonna cycle through. Okay, so yeah, and this code, all this code is to kind of go through. It's like a cycle. So first, it checks for one product name, checks complaints, and then puts the reports somewhere. Then it goes to the next product, and it keeps going like that. It keeps pretty much it creates like a whole cycle, right? And once it goes to the like once it reviews all the products, then it's done. So that's what this does. It iterates through. Okay. It iterates through each group, product group. That's what that part does. Okay. Now, this part of the code is looking for. This is when the model is fed the complaints now. So the sentiment model is given the complaints or given. Yeah, no. It's given all the reviews. My bad. The model's given all the reviews, and then it checks to see if the review is a complaint or not a complaint based on what the model feels like, right? Or what it analyzes based on the text, right? And if it's negative, and we have a score system, so you can change the score value. So pretty much, if it's a negative with a 0.9, that means like it's 90% chance that it's negative, right? Then it adds it to the list to show you. Now you can change your score to be a lot smaller, which means more false data might come through. Like it might get something that it thinks is a complaint, but it's not because that this value is too low. And if it's too high, like the higher it can go is one. So it goes from 1 or 0. So 0 to 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 9. And if you want to make it 100%, 1 means 100%, 0.9 means 90% accuracy, right? That's what that means. It just moved the decimal 2 times to the right. So imagine this is like this. If you move the decimal twice, it's 90. If you just don't put the 0 there, because it's pointless. But that's what that means essentially. So you can set the threshold for where it's like, oh, if the value of the score, like if the negative score is 90% and above, throw it into that, right? Um, or throw it into the report that you show the user essentially. So, and if you get this, that means it couldn't analyze the data for some particular reason. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry. Cool. So now this is the code that does. It does quite a bit, but the idea is that it pretty much finds. Remember, so now we have the complaints, right? So we have these complaints. So now it grabs the complaints that we have. It takes the complaints and it tries to see if any of them are similar. So it creates groups of complaints, right? So if complaints are similar, it'll create a group. And if it's not similar, let's say it's a unique one, then it's by itself, and that's its own group, right? So so it creates groups of complaints. It can be one complaint in that group because it's super unique, or it can be multiple complaints in a group because they're super similar, right? So that's what happens from there. Okay, so wait for it. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then this code specifically is the one that does this step. Where is it at? Show one complaint for the group of similar complaints. That's what that line of code does right there. Cool. We're almost done, guys. And pretty much this line says if the group has only like one complaint in there, which means it's a unique one, add that to the report, right? Cool. Let's see. Next is now we're going to create a function for generating the report. So now this function will create the report that we see on the bottom, right? If not a report, if something's wrong with your report, it's just not gonna like the data malfunction for some reason at some point. Let's say your internet went out, or let's say something wrong happened as you were doing the process, like your electricity, like let's say electricity went out for like 2 seconds, that might mess it up and stuff like that, or you being hacked. Um, yes, that's what that does. Cool. Then this one, pretty much in the report, it produces all that text that you see. It goes through all the products that it found via the filtering from earlier, and it prints those out and the complaints. So, and this code finds those complaints that it was talking about, the complaints that it thinks it finds the reviews that it thought were complaints, and it shows you those, right? The ones that it handpicked itself to show you. Um, yeah, this times 50 just creates a bunch of like those lines that you'll see, like these lines and stuff like that's what it creates on the report itself. And now this is the main execution. So now what happens is when you create a function, to run the function, you have to call it later, right? So that's kind of what happens. And this is coding stuff. Is if you make a function like this, right? Def report da da da. You have to call it later, and this is me calling it later, right? Cool. And I highly recommend watching the, I believe it's my fourth video in the series or third video in the series where I go over some more coding terminology, stuff like that. But because essentially this is like the bullet inside of the gun, right? That we need, because this specific function needs ammo to run. The other ones, let me double check. This one, yeah, data is ammo, and this one doesn't have ammo. So functions can use ammo or not ammo, also called I mean, it's a lot of different names for it. I can call it parameters and stuff like that. But you get the idea. So this actually runs the entire code essentially, right? Not the entire code, but it runs this function will load the model, or sorry, load the data, and then now this code will analyze and find the complaints, and then this code will produce the reports, right? So, and that's all at once, right? And that will produce all of this for you guys, okay? So yeah, that's pretty much how the code works step by step and what's going on. And now I'm gonna show you one more time really quick what the code is doing, like step by step visually, so you can see what's going on. So first it loads the data, which is this, because I find it. And how you find the data, you go through your file path, or you Google Explorer or whatever, you open up this, and that's find it, you open it, cool, now it's in front of you, right? And then next, we're gonna just get rid of, like, we just want these two columns right here, so we're gonna grab this column here, right? And then we grab the other column that we need here. Cool, right? So it grabs those two columns, then it'll filter it. Cool. So now first we'll filter by the first one. So we'll clear. The first thing is Aquaguard, starts with an A. It's up there. Cool. And now we'll check if it's a complaint or not. So it'll check if it's a complaint or not. Complaint, question mark. And it's like, yes. No. And let's say I'm the AI now doing this. Gary Price. No. Fits perfectly. No. No. No leaks so far. No. And you get, and it kind of go down that list. But I'm trying to find one that's similar. No, I'm trying to find a complaint for you guys. Too heavy to carry around. This is a complaint, yes. So everything else is probably a no. Oh, battery life is bad. Right. And then I'm gonna find one more. One second. Doesn't fit the cup holder. Yes. Cool. Let's just pretend this said it is super big and can't fit in my car's cup holder, right? And so let's pretend like that's a complaint that was in the data set already, and it's yes, right? So cool. So now what happens is, like, next, right, the code will grab all these yes ones. So we gotta go, let me see, control. Control C. Control V, and it will, sorry guys. Cool. Cool. And we grab all those yeses, right? So now we have a bunch of complaints. So now we create the groups, right, for the complaints. So we got like group 1, group 2, group 3. Of course there's more, but I'm just showing you basically what the code does, right? So this one would go group 1, it's unique, it's by itself. This will go to group 2. Ooh, sorry. Group 2. Now we're splitting it into groups. We got group 3. Oh, we actually have group 4. Yeah, so we're gonna make another one. So we're gonna do group 4, right? And then the code will grab these two and put it into group 4, right? And now that it's in group 4, right, now the code's gonna be like, okay, whatever's first one, it'll just grab this one. So it's gonna be like, okay, cool. Since it's the first one, I'll just grab this and show you this, right? And this first row is the ones that it will show you. Granted, like this one appeared more than once and it's the exact same one, so this one would not get shown, right? Because that was I saw it earlier. Like a lot of them were repeated, so it'll grab both of them and put them in that group. And cool. And then this is what you'll see in the report, right? So in the report, you'll get button jammed easily, battery life is terrible, da da da. And that's for this product right here. Where's this product? This product. Where is it? Aqua. Cool. So for AquaGuard Smart Bottle, these are the complaints for that one. And then the code now is going to go back to this part. Then it's going to go back, go to the filter, unfilter this. It'll turn that one on, hit OK, and do the same process all over again, right? And then once that's done, you'll see another thing called chill whatever, another row, and then once it's done, it just shows you all the complaints for each one. And that's essentially what this code does, okay? So remember that the AI parts of this are finding the complaints, figuring out the complaints, and cool. And we preloaded models that were not fine-tuned. So if we fine-tune the model, that'll be a different skill set and whatever, but you can potentially solve this problem by fine-tuning these two models. You can fine-tune this one on complaints. You can show it data of complaints, because maybe it doesn't understand what complaints are for water bottles. So you can try to give it complaints for water bottles so it understands that hot for water bottles is just a bad thing. You don't want your water bottle to have hot water inside, right? You don't want that. If it's a water bottle for like working out, stuff like that, right? And then complaint similarities. If it's having a hard time figuring out similarities, you can also fine tune it for this or create better filters. Things like this are solutions that you can do for something like this, right? But that's pretty much the whole explanation, guys. Check out my website, Slapjacks Learning, in the description below. I teach AI to beginners and pros. I help companies automate their workflows using AI. I help create AI tools, AI projects, AI apps, all that kind of jazz. I do all of it. If you have questions or brainstorming, you want to make a product potentially, you want to make a business about AI, you want to ask questions about it, you're not sure if this is an AI thing or not, if AI is good for this, a good business idea, reach out to me. I'm available for all of it, you guys. Okay, but I appreciate you guys for this video. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Peace.